This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Reverend Thodwin. And Reverend Thodwin has a follow-up question to my recent vlog on the subject of suicide and the afterlife. And Reverend Thodwin's question concerns suicide and reincarnation. And Reverend Thodwin writes to say that they have always understood that when you end a life by suicide, you will come back in your next incarnation to face exactly the same lessons that brought you to that in the first place, because they must be learned and worked through. And I am in complete agreement with this point of view in most cases. Although I would say there's nothing particularly about suicide that causes this, it's the nature of incarnation itself. We have attachments to certain lessons and we must learn them, and if we die without doing so, we will come back to those same lessons. So, in this sense, suicide is not an answer to problems. They will just come back to you in your next incarnation. But they don't necessarily affect your afterlife unless you get caught between the worlds. They affect that next incarnation, and this is true of all of our attachments. They come back to us when we are reborn in this world, which exists for working with these things, and for transformation and growth. So, again, when we end a life, whether through suicide or otherwise, if we have not learned our lessons or released our attachments in other ways, those attachments are waiting for us when we're reborn. They will bring us right back to any situations that have not been worked out, until they are in fact worked out. And, I've talked before about the so-called law of three, that karma goes out 3 times. Well, we should be so lucky that it only goes 3 times. It goes as many times as are necessary until the lessons are learned. 3 merely represents plurality. It says this will happen more than once. And sometimes people work far, far more than 3 times on given lessons. Sometimes they work dozens of times, because it just takes that much to work it through. Sometimes they get it the first time. This does happen. But again, this is the case regardless of how the person dies in the past life. When they are reborn into the next life, the same conditions apply to all. So those would be my thoughts on the subject. I hope you find them interesting, and until next time, may you blessed be. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you for Pagans Tonight Radio. Pagans Tonight Radio is an online radio network with different hosts and different shows 7 nights a week. There's something for every taste, including Spanish language programming on Saturday evening. Check out paganstonight.com today.